What is up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and today I'm going to be teaching you how the new orbs work. This is a pretty good lesson, and the reason why is because if you're wanting to get really top tier gear in this new season, you can actually get gear that is far more powerful than in any season before. Some of the methods are extremely expensive. Some of them are kind of comparable to what it would have cost last season, but they can be a little bit more expensive. Can, because we do have RNG involved. However, we have a way to make items that are actually going to be way stronger. So, there's a little bit more risk involved in the rolling. But we can do that in a smart way so that we minimize the chance that we're going to wind up spending way more for a stronger item than we would have gotten before. The thing is before we could, just get 2 mods onto an item, and then, you're basically crafting on multiple modifiers, which costs you 2 exalts. After you know, scour, alt spam, annul, and annuls were a lot more expensive because everyone was doing this. So you had a lot of currency involved before. There was a lot of currency involved. And the better mods normally cost you quite a bit. Like an exalt on a lot of the good mods. Like the top increased damage is an exalt, dual mod with attack speed and increased quality, critical chance and increased quality. There's a lot of them. So the point is crafting was already a fairly expensive endeavor. Now we kind of spend our currency up front in this example, and then we try to roll the item. There's 2 things that I'm going to be using today. One is a new exalted orb. You first have to decide what type of an exalted orb that you're going to use. You also need a base. The first thing is we're going to be adding influence to this item. What is this? This is an item level 86 Steigen. This is one of the most expensive bases in the game. So how much did this orb cost me? This orb cost me 160 chaos, which is like 1.2 exalted orbs. So you might be thinking that's a pretty big investment to add an influence. But when you consider the fact that this exact same base currently on the market, just by adding the influence to it, is going to be, let's switch to belts so I can see these clearer. Redeemer, belt. So simply just by adding the influence, this belt becomes worth 3.3 exalts. Which, how can I get these belts? Does it cost me 2 exalts to get this belt? No, I just have to do a tier 16 map, find find one of the, why am I forgetting the name of it? Find an abyss, and then kill the end boss. They always drop you a Steigen. And if it's on tier 16, it's going to be an item level 86 every single time. So you can get that yourself, and it will be free. Just by playing. So if you do get one, and it doesn't have good rolls, and you can make some bank on it, you can save it. Why is it that I am choosing Redeemer? And this is what I was saying, you need to think about what it is that you're going to be making. If you're using the same build as me, you could copy what I'm doing when you have the currency, because this is the best set of mods in my opinion, because what is it that I want? I want more damage. So I will walk you through this process. Obviously, if you have your mindset on something else, you're going to use some different mods, and I'll tell you why I selected the mods that I selected. So the Redeemer gives me a chance to increase damage with hits against chilled enemies up to 40% damage. It can give me increased cold damage up to 25%. It can give me an increased attack speed of 14%. It can give me increased projectile damage of 35%. And it can also give me, removes chill and freeze when you use a flask. That one I'm not exactly interested in. I'm looking for damage. The other thing is there's some other mods that I'm interested in. So I'm actually going to be making this a double influence item. The main thing being the Elder base, can have a percentage increased life. Could I just do this with one influence? Yes, but why would I do that? I'm making a video, we might as well do both. So I'm going to make a double influence item. You could obviously stop at this and go for just those mods because there's a lot of really good mods on there. And you know, you might also want some others. You might also want some might want some other stuff like elemental resistance or HP or something like that. Which then I'm going to go into how I'm going to craft it. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, try the whole time. I tried that with my bow and I spent a crazy amount and didn't even hit anything usable. So, but that was a lot more expensive rolls. That was like over an exalt a roll. Anyways, so to add the influence, and something I want to first point out is we cannot add an influence to to a non-influenced item. So we can double influence through 2 orbs, but we cannot take and put an influence directly onto this. So if I want the Elder mods on a non-influence item, I'm going to have to first put an influence on it. You can take and do what I'm doing, which is get all of the best mods onto one item, and then I'm going to increase my likelihood of getting the mods that I want by using fossils that block out all the stuff that I don't want, which is going to make it so I have a higher chance of hitting the stuff that I do want, which then hopefully I'll wind up with a 5 to 6 stat item that will have everything on it that I want, or one stat that I can craft on something that I want. So the way that you're going to use the Awakener's Orb, I'll go over it, is normally you would take and you're going to destroy this item and apply the influence. I can't do that yet because there's no influence. So I'm going to add the influence of the Redeemer to the Stygian. And I'm using a item level 86 base. This is what I would recommend unless there is only certain stuff at a certain level and you don't want anything above it, because that's going to narrow down the pool of things that you can get. However, I want the highest level, so I'm going to go ahead and add it. So now I have my item level 86. It didn't change that. It just added a stat to it and added the influence. So now it is a single influence item. Is this something I want to keep? No. I want to make it a double influence. So the way the Awakener's Orb works is one item is going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to be transferred, and I'm explaining this because I know a lot of players, especially when I was new, I was really scared to use something because I'm like, I might waste this currency, and spoiler alert, I did waste some currency several times. So that's why I'm walking you guys through this, so that there's no question about it. One item, which you're going to click second, it's not going to change the item level or the type of item that it is. You have to use 2 items of the same type. They do not have to be the same item. That would obviously suck if I needed a Elder Stygian to make a 2 mod Stygian with some other Crusader combination, because having the Elder influence on this belt makes it a 6 to 9 exalt base. So that would suck to have to buy a 6 to 9 exalt base in order to do this. That would suck. So this item's level does not matter. It's an 81. So I have clicked that. That's going to be my destroyed item. I'm then going to click onto the item that I want to add the influence. And there we go. I now have a 2 influence item. And it actually came out pretty nice. And why is that? Because it has a huge pool of stuff that works well for me. So if I wanted to, I mean, in the unlikely chance that you wound up with like everything you wanted, which, you know, it's got a tier 3 on it, which I'm not interested in, then if that does happen to you, you could obviously keep it. However, what I'm going to do, since I'm a cold-based character, I've added influence that give me cold damage, elemental damage, damage to things when they're chilled. I'm going to add a prismatic fossil. I'm going to also add a pristine fossil. And why am I adding the pristine fossil? The Elder Belt can give me up to a 10% increased HP, which that's a pretty big increase. So I'm going to give that a shot. This is not what I wanted. We literally got no influences. We got nothing good on there. So we're going to try again. This once again, it's mediocre. It's nothing think that might be one mod, but that's garbage. I'm gonna have to keep on rolling it. But now you know how to do it. So thanks for watching. Peace out.